Now, I found something very intriguing about the demonstration yesterday. Here is a so-called minority in parliament. Because I don't believe that there's a minority in parliament. Okay. But here's a so-called minority in parliament making demands for the resignation of the governor of the Bank of Ghana. When they organize demonstration and they insist that this governor that they claim has failed and must leave and so on must be the one to receive their petition. They make such a huge issue out of the governor not receiving their petition. I don't understand it. The governor says that he's not going. Okay? Those who want the governor to go must aim at kicking him out, not begging him, not sending petitions to him. Why should he be the one to receive the petition? I don't understand. I mean, sometimes some of these things I don't really understand. Demonstration in terms of the turnout was pretty good if you're looking at it from the point of view of the turnout. You understand? My prediction, and take it from me, my prediction is that we would experience a lot more demonstrations.
On the governor or generally?
No, generally the demonstrations are going to multiply. You know, demonstrations went out of season for some time. I think they're coming back in season. And they will continue, you know, and they will get bigger. You mark it. From now till about March next year, there will be much, much bigger demonstrations, much more citizens' participation. People will feel emboldened to express themselves. And I'm expecting a lot more demonstrations between now and March, April next year. You understand? So mark it. It will happen. I have no doubt there will be a lot more demonstrations, bigger demonstrations.
Against government? On the economy?
Well, people expressing their views, people expressing their disgust at things that are happening in the country.
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Until for a higher PENDREAM TV in Pachos and your first time and subscribe to the channel no found Sabo Adomani to set the video be a tour. Ube first person I website. Usha video new you send a voice note to mine. I was 0277 128 777 0277 128 777. I be bo actually Ghana for you na. Until for yanko share and video number.
The NDC has stated, not the NDC, but the NDC and the people that went on the demonstration.
Well, I've been reading the newspapers this morning, and I'm not surprised. I mean, this is what has been happening with demonstrations, you know, for forever. Some of the headlines suggest that only a few hundred people took part in the demonstration. There are other headlines which suggest that the Kayaye who took part in the demonstration were bribed to take part in the demonstration and so on. Nothing is new. We've seen this over the years and it doesn't surprise me at all. Clearly, everybody who saw the demonstration, either live or saw it on social media or on television, would know that the suggestion that only a few hundred people took part in the demonstration is dishonest. Clearly dishonest. You understand? Because we all saw the crowds. And I think that we have a fair sense of how to evaluate numbers and so on. I mean, thousands of people took part in the demonstration. But does it even matter, the numbers of people who took part in the demonstration? It is not all those who are disaffected, who are frustrated, who think that something is wrong, who are on the streets. The vast majority of those who are disaffected, who are disillusioned and so on, don't go on the streets. Usually the people who go on the streets are the most active, you know, people who are most fired up and so on. So this numbers game is a useless game, and I think we should stop playing this numbers game. Absolutely useless, you know. The other thing about Kayaye being bribed, so And my brother, I'm sure you haven't forgotten. Political leaders go on campaign and they pay for the transportation of their members to attend their meetings, and they justify it. Okay? People go to congresses of all the political parties. They are fed free of charge. They are given pocket money and so on, and they justify it. What is wrong then with repeating this practice in a demonstration? And we are told that we were giving 20 cedis. People give 1,000 cedis to delegates. You understand? So, what is that supposed to mean? If this is an issue, then paying political party delegates to go to delegates conferences and so on is also an issue. You understand? So I think, look, when we set standards, we should be clear what standards we are setting and how the enforcement of those standards even affect ourselves, those of us who are setting the standards. You understand? And I find it almost ridiculous, that these claims are being made, as if it changes anything. Let us admit that Kaye were paid to participate in the demonstration. Does it take away the fact that people in this country are experiencing excruciating hardship? It doesn't take away that fact. Does it take away the fact that the Bank of Ghana is alleged to have mismanaged, its side of the economy and so on? It doesn't take it away. It doesn't take away the fact that Bank of Ghana made losses. You understand? So I think we should focus on the central, most important issues and stop this childish game. This childish game. It doesn't solve any problem at all. Now, my brother Collins, in his submission, indicated that at a certain time, the Bank of Ghana made profit. And it was out of that profit that the Bank of Ghana sought to acquire or to construct a new head office. This submission is most interesting. You understand? Because when the issue of Bank of Ghana making losses was first raised, do you remember the reaction of the bank? That it is not a profit and loss institution. You remember?
I don't recall that anyway.
Oh, I'm sure that our viewers recall.
That the bank said that it was not a
profit and loss institution. It was not set up to make profits, and so on. Then all of a sudden, the same people who told us that the bank is not a profit and loss institution are telling us about profits that the bank has made. Look, Kwesi Nancy stories are just meant to stay as Kwesi Nancy stories. We shouldn't elevate Kwesi Nancy stories to the level of discourse that we engage in now. Bank of Ghana either makes profits or doesn't make profits. In any case, let us assume that it is a profit and loss institution and made some profit. Even when profits are made by state institutions, even in the private sector, people have a right to question the prudent use of the profits.
Absolutely.
The use of the profit must be sensible. It must be prudent. You understand?
Exactly.
Now, I found something very intriguing about the demonstration yesterday. Here is a so-called minority in parliament. Because I don't believe that there's a minority in parliament. Okay. But here's a so-called minority in parliament making demands for the resignation of the governor of the Bank of Ghana. When they organize a demonstration and they insist that this governor that they claim has failed and must leave and so on must be the one to receive their petition. They make such a huge issue out of the governor not receiving their petition. I don't understand it. The governor says that he's not going. Okay? Those who want the governor to go must aim at kicking him out, not begging him, not sending petitions to him. Why should he be the one to receive the petition? I don't understand. I mean, sometimes some of these things I don't really understand. And then, my brother, I've been following the mobilization for the demonstration and so on, and sometimes some things simply just beat me, you know. You are organizing a demonstration in Ghana, a country with an illiteracy rate of over 50%. Okay. And then your demonstration is tagged hashtag something, 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 something. My brother, I'm sitting back, I'm just wondering. I mean, what is this? Many of the people, when they hear hashtag
Occupy BOG protest,
they will think that it is in Japanese. Master, they will think that it is in Japanese. It doesn't relate to the ambitions of our people, to the felt needs of our people and so on. It's up there, above our heads. I'm sure that this fascination with social media and so on is what is driving this guy. Now everything is hashtag something. Compare this to demonstrations that we've had in the past and the tags that were used in order to mobilize people. So I'm sitting back and I'm wondering, I mean, can't people be a little more imaginative? You know, so, well, the demonstration has taken place, and I insist that every citizen has a right to demonstrate. You understand? All this is about who took part in the demonstration, Kai and so on. It has no relevance. Look, under our constitution, people who have been convicted of crimes in the prisons have a right to demonstrate. You understand? Criminals have a right to demonstrate. The infirm have a right to demonstrate. Everybody has a right to demonstrate. And it doesn't matter whether it is Kaye or whatever, they have a right to demonstrate. I mean, sometimes our reactions to these public manifestations tend to be extremely insulting. So those who are harping on Kaye participating in these demonstrations, are they saying that Kaye have no minds of their own? They have to be hired to demonstrate? Are they saying that Kaye don't feel the pinch of what is happening in our country?
Uncle, the Kaye aspect that you talk about, I've seen it in one of the papers.
Daily Guide.
Who is it attributed to? Who made that comment?
I haven't seen any attribution.
Okay.
You understand? Right. But I'm saying that it's insulting to the Kaye. Why? Who feels the pinch more than the Kaye? Who feels the pinch more than the Kaye? So I think we should stop insulting various segments of our society. And if you're talking about the current hardships that we face in this country, the brunt is felt largely by persons in our rural communities, the farmers, farm laborers and so on. They feel it, they know it. They know that the cost of farming inputs, fertilizer and so on, in some instances have gone up by more than 300% in 2 years. They know it better than those of us, you know, sitting around tables like this and having a jolly good conversation. The Kaye, they feel it. The taxi driver, the trotro driver, those are the people who feel the hardship. And if things were not topsy-turvy, they should be leading those demonstrations. You understand? So I think we should stop insulting the underprivileged people in our country by these statements and these references and so on. Yesterday's demonstration, in terms of the turnout, was pretty good. If you're looking at it from the point of view of the turnout, you understand? My prediction, and take it from me, my prediction is that we would experience a lot more demonstrations.
On the governor or generally?
No, generally the demonstrations are going to multiply. You know, demonstrations went out of season for some time. I think they're coming back in season. And they will continue. and they will get bigger. You mark it. From now till about March next year, there will be much, much bigger demonstrations, much more citizens' participation. People will feel emboldened to express themselves. And I'm expecting a lot more demonstrations between now and March, April next year. You understand? So mark it. It will happen. I have no doubt there will be a lot more demonstrations, bigger demonstrations.
Against government? On the economy?
Well, people expressing their views, people expressing their disgust at things that are happening in the country. I'm told that another group, for example, is notifying the police of its intention to demonstrate against the police.
Wow.
I read it yesterday.
Against the police?
Against the police, you understand? I read that yesterday. And there'll be many more workers whose salaries have not been paid for some time. They will demonstrate. The abuse of trade union rights will draw people onto the streets. It is possible that students will be demonstrating against the conditions in educational institutions and so on. Why? The constantly increasing prices of petroleum products will draw people onto the streets. The issues which will draw people onto the streets are many. The general insecurity in our country, bad roads, and in fact the demonstrations over bad roads have already started. You saw the demonstration in Ashama, the massive demonstration in Ashama and so on. So all of these are going to continue, and we should brace ourselves up for a lot more demonstrations in the days, weeks and months ahead.
Okay, so I'll read your message later on, but let me come back to you. The message is for you. He says he's watching you, but the other ones that he sent, I'll read them later on. Let me come back to you. Uncle has made a number of comments, and he's predicted that there will be a number of demonstrations. Some, of course, against the economic performance.
I will not also not be surprised. Of course, we are gearing towards an election year, a very crucial election. And if you just watched the Occupy BOG protest, it was led primarily by the minority. And I think this is the minority that is eager to come back to government. And so I will not be surprised that even if they don't lead, they will be behind the scenes to manage some of these things. It's expected. As a government, and I've not received any brief from the government, but what I know is that we are very accommodating to these things, and no matter how many times these demonstrations occur, all I'll say is that I urge the police to be professional anytime a request or a notification of a protest is about to take place. They should be professional about it. And just as happened yesterday, everybody had the opportunity to vent, peaceful. Everybody goes home. What is important, as I said earlier on, is for us as a government to pick out the issues that have been raised. It talks about increment of fuel, prices of goods are going up. Question is, what is government doing to ensure that the anticipated protest that Kwesi is talking about is averted? That's the most important thing as a government. And so
what's the government doing? Is government doing anything to avert some of these things? Is the national security aware?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure. As I said, I've not received any brief from any government official, but it's anticipated. It can be anticipated. Quite clear that there can be some demonstrations that will happen. But as I said, always demonstrations are opportunity for a government to pick out the positives from it. So if the people are demonstrating and saying that this is what is happening, what is important is how do you avert it? That's what is important. There's no need to crush them, in quotes, to crush them. You allow the process to go on smoothly, and then you make arrangement to avert any future occurrence. But in my submissions, I realized Kwesi rebutted with some concordance story when I raised the issue of the.
Sorry, I wasn't referring to you. I don't think that you are Kukwana.
I know that.
There are some of your arguments that I don't accept.
Of course.
It doesn't make you Kukwana.
Of course. But Kwesi, what I stated was just facts. I just stated the fact that Bank of Ghana, per the report that they themselves has released on their website, that they've made some profits over the period of time. In fact, this is the first time I'm hearing Bank of Ghana making a loss. So when I make that reference, it's just that I'm just stating the fact. And as to the prudence of the usage of that profit, part of that profit, I think we can have a discussion about it. This is a board decision. The board met. The board decided that they're going to use part of their profit to put up a new building.
But that's a concern for people. That's a concern for the demonstrators. That in this current state of the economy.
The point I'm making is that if the Bank of Ghana had not made a loss, trust me, we will not be having the discussion.
The economy, in this economy, the Bank of Ghana had not made a loss.
Had not made a loss in
this economy.
In 2022. Mm-hmm. We will not be having discussion about their new edifice.
It is possible we still could be having in the current state of the economy.
Because this building started as far back as 2020. I've been here with you a couple of years now. We've never had any discussion on it. 2021, there was no discussion on it.
We didn't know.
That's the point I'm making.
We didn't know the
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that if Bank of Ghana had not made a loss, even scrutinizing their statements will not be an issue. What is important to me, the last time I was here, is that this whole discussion about Bank of Ghana should lead to reforms. It should lead to reforms. And at the committee level, we've had this discussion. You know, there are a lot of things that happen in Bank of Ghana, that's Kwesi saying, that the public is not aware of. I'm saying, but for the loss, we will not be having discussion about Bank of Ghana. When was the first time or the last time you had a discussion on prime time talking about even the financial statement of the Bank of Ghana? Today, people are scrutinizing and getting deeper and talking about even travel expenditure and everything. But Bank of Ghana officials were traveling way back. We're not talking about it. But I'm saying that because there's an issue about their loss, that is why all this discussion is taking place.
And I'm also saying that is not because the economy is also in a very good state. So the Bank of Ghana should be seen as
we had
fitting into the belt with the rest of us.
One of our worst periods in terms of the economy in 2022. If you recall, when at a point in time, anytime you get up in the morning, the rate changes within 2 or 3 times. That was 2022. Worst times. But we never had any discussion on Bank of Ghana. I am saying that these discussions should lead to reforms. Why is it that the budget of the Bank of Ghana is not brought to Parliament? Why is it not made known, the allowances paid to all members not made to the general public for discussion or Parliament for a discussion? Why is it that the governor, who is the chief executive of Bank of Ghana, still chairing the board? That corporate structure, can we have some discussion about it? Is it normal to have the CEO also chairing the board? These are all discussions that we can have, and that is why this discussion should lead to a proper reforms of the Bank of Ghana. It should lead to. Why are we not having, just like GNPC brings to Parliament, their work program every year, goes to the Energy Committee, comes to the plenary for discussion? Why is the Bank of Ghana not giving us that kind of leverage and giving us opportunity to see what is happening within the Bank of Ghana? Only that they report to us on their exchange movements. Why? These are things that we should have discussions about. And I was hoping that maybe the petition would bring out this kind of issues. Because at the committee level, we've had this discussion. Their activities are opaque. And since 2019 and 2020, 21, 2022, none of us knew that the Bank of Ghana was building a new edifice. None. If they have not made a loss, I'm telling you, we will not be having the discussion. So I'm just hoping that we'll be having, in spite of all the political angle that we bring to it, we can have a very passionate and holistic discussion about the general operations of the Bank of Ghana, so that we can tweak some of the things that are coming out now for the betterment of the Bank of Ghana.
Boss. First of all, I mean, there's no doubt at all that it was the so-called minority leadership which called for this street protest. But that does not in any way make persons who took part in the protest NDC members or NDC sympathizers. Because I know for a fact that some people participated in that protest who are not NDC and who would not even vote for the NDC in the next elections. A friend of mine took part in this demonstration. And I've been having conversations with him, and he's most disgusted with the two political parties. Indeed, even yesterday after the demonstration, I had a conversation with him and said, look, MPP started by saying that they will never go to the IMF. Eventually they ended up there. We've been to the IMF 17 times. We know what the IMF does and so on. What is the NDC response to this situation? The NDC response to this situation is that, oh, they should have gone faster. You know, they delayed too much in going to the IMF and so on. For him, these two positions do not represent alternatives. But he was in the demonstration yesterday. And the reason why he was in the demonstration was simply that he felt that it is important now to teach political authorities that they do not have the final say, and that the people mobilized, organized, ultimately will decide the path that we take as a nation. He was in that demonstration. I also happen to know an electrician in Kukumimle who actually works on the Kotoko Avenue, who until recently, 5 years ago, was a staunch MPP member, very staunch MPP member, who has always voted MPP since he started voting, who was in the demonstration. Okay, so people in government and so on should not make the mistake of assuming that only the NDC is angry. The anger is everywhere. You understand? And if you listen to your own party members, you would know that even within your party, anger is mounting at just the level, you know, of hardship that people have to face. And also just the fact that you look into the future and you don't find hope. You look into the future, you don't find any hope. You know, it exacerbates the sense of frustration and so on. And I think it's important that you take note of that. I fully, completely endorse a review of the Bank of Ghana structure and processes and so on. I'm so completely dissatisfied with the arrangements that we have made.
The current structure of the Bank of Ghana?
Yeah, that's the structure, the ethos, all of that needs to be reviewed. Look, what sense does it make? We organize elections, we go to an election, we elect a president, we elect a government. The president appoints a governor of the Bank of Ghana, and the governor of the Bank of Ghana all of a sudden becomes God, independent. Nobody can tell him anything, he does what he likes. He can challenge the president as well. For how long are we going to tolerate this madness? What mandate does the governor of Bank of Ghana have? We gave our mandate to the president, not to the governor of the Bank of Ghana. If things go wrong, we want to hold the president responsible. You understand what I mean? The governor of the Bank of Ghana is an appointee of the president, cannot have powers that supersede that of the president. This whole idea of having an independent governor of the central bank and so on came out of the pursuit of the neoliberal agenda. And I think it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make political sense, it doesn't make economic sense, and so on. The central bank ought to be an instrument of government for the formulation and implementation of monetary policy. You can't have a God sitting in any bank, dictating to government, dictating to parliament, and so on. We need to change that. You understand? The process of reporting to parliament is so skewed that in the final analysis, parliament gets very little information about the operations of the Bank of Ghana. You understand? Somebody that we have mandated ought to be in charge of the Bank of Ghana. And when the governor of the Bank of Ghana and other officers misbehave, they should be fired like every other public servant or civil servant can be fired. Creating this deity sitting in the Bank of Ghana, I don't think it's in the best interest of the economy or it's in the best interest of Ghana. So I have very strong views about that. There's an issue that people like you call governance issues. You know,
corporate governance.
Your language. corporate governance issues and so on. How come that the chief executive of the Bank of Ghana is also the chair of the board? It's clearly anomalous. It will not be tolerated in GNPC. Why should it be tolerated in the Bank of Ghana? So you cannot have a situation where the chief executive of the bank is also the board chair. It doesn't make sense. So we need to embark on a massive review, of all of these things. Many times when you speak like I speak, you are told about, the independence of this body and the independence of that body and so on. Maza, excuse my language. It is all bunkum. You understand? Because ultimate power lies in the hands of the people of Ghana. Tomorrow, if the people of Ghana mobilize sufficiently, they can change this constitution. The people of Ghana have the power to say that they are going to have a constitution which will not have a Supreme Court. Alright? Yes. The people of Ghana can decide that they don't even want parliament. The people of Ghana, in exercise of their sovereignty, can make all these decisions. So if today you have a constitution which says that there's a Supreme Court, there's a certain structure of the judiciary, there's an electoral commission and so on, and the occupants feel that by virtue of the provisions of that constitution they are God, they should wake up. Ultimate power resides with the people. Even the constitution can be changed by the people. You understand? And no institution is divine. There's no institution in this country which is divine, which cannot be changed if the people of Ghana want to change it. So all this bunkum about independence of that and independence of those and so on, hey, let's wake up.
So I'm just looking at the corporate structure of the Bank of Ghana now. I don't know if it can be projected. We have the board of directors sitting at the top, where the governor is also the chair. And then we have the monetary policy committee which comes up, and then we come to the governor as in the management process, and then the first deputy governor and second deputy governor. So first deputy governor is in charge of research, corporate management services, currency management, payment systems, human resource and capacity development, information and communication technology, and then risk management. Then you have the second deputy governor in charge of banking, collateral registry, finance, medical, financial stability, banking supervision, and then OFIS. And then the governor himself is in charge of the financial markets, governance, internal audits, legal, secretaries, security, office of ethics and internal investigations, and information security office. If we're able to project it later on, we'll come back to it. But let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll round up on this and look at the issues in the MPP. Stay with us.
What does money mean to you?
It means convenience. It gives me the ability to do business at my own pace.
It allows me to live my life with ease and enjoy my lifestyle without interruptions.
Security. I can make investments I can trust, and I know exactly where my money is all the time.
Having the flexibility to do what I want to.
The feeling and peace of mind I get knowing I can safely receive remittances from my family and friends from the comfort of my home. Money means safety.
Money means so many things to so many people, but no matter what you use it for or what it may mean to you, money is the one thing that keeps us going and makes our lives a little bit brighter. So what does money mean to you? Just Momo it.
MTN.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ambedu.
Good afternoon, Mr. San.
How is business doing?
My business is collapsing.
Why is your business collapsing?
I sold my products and services to my clients on credit, and my debtors are not paying their debts.
Have you heard of Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company operating in all the 16 regions of Ghana?
Not at all.
Mr. Ambedu, all you need to do is to contact them on their customer service line. I recommend Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company to financial institutions, businessmen and businesswomen, other companies, and also individuals. Rosic Consult has 98.4% debt recovery rate. We have professional debt recovery managers. You are assured of swift debt recovery. No recovery, no commission. For Rosic Consult Limited, no more write-offs. And we pre-finance the recovery ourselves.
Ready for something refreshing and great tasting? For your kids' enjoyment?
Angel Cola.
For your graduation enjoyment?
Angel Cola.
Beach hangout?
Angel Cola.
For all your refreshing moments?
Angel Cola.
For your parties, get-togethers, events, and celebrations, enjoy a chilled bottle of Angel Cola. Radio Grandma, today is your day. Over to you.
Thank you. Enjoyment Cola.
The Enjoyment Cola. Enjoy all your moments and fun time with Angel Cola. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, my friends. My name is Calcate Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you
a for channel I share video we also a PENDREAM TV mpacho wa share we adwunche bia wo fa video yi no ho bia no send my e wo 0277128777 0277128777 WhatsApp number no send your voice ne bra na bebo magana fo nyina ate wonka
dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase na so far so good say open online portal e wo Ghana nipa share nipa follow nipa comment here to my best of knowledge without any biases. PENDREAM TV.